Hello and welcome to the Beatport podcast. My name's High Class Filter, and on today's show, I'll be talking to Bryan Gee about his legendary label, V Recordings. Having celebrated their 25-year anniversary in 2018, V are lining up two huge new albums celebrating the past, present, and future of the label. So I caught up with Bryan to speak about the early days of V, his journey in music, and where the label's heading in the future. Before we get into my interview with Bryan Gee, I'm starting you off with an old school cut from the early days of V Recordings. This is Ronnie Size with Days.
Beatport Podcast.
You're listening to the Beatport podcast with me, High Class Filter, and I'm joined now by Bryan Gee. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing too? Good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm cool. What's been happening? What's been going on in the world of Bryan Gee?
Just same old, man. Doing what I love doing. You get what I'm saying? Doing the music thing, and it seems to take up a lot of my time. With the label and DJing, and so it's like a full-time job. It just never stops.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to stop.
I mean, that's good to hear that it's not stopping. So this year you got 2 big albums coming out on V Recordings.
Yeah, last year was a milestone for us. We reached 25 years doing V Recordings, and so we decided that we would like to celebrate it. And so we went on tour and we started to tour all over the place. I'm sure like a lot of people who went to drum and bass would have saw 25 years of V that we were doing all over the country and stuff. So we took it abroad as well. Reception was great, and it was brilliant. We had really a lot of fun, and we had so much fun we forgot to finish the album. You get what I'm saying? Because we wanted the album to actually come out last year at the same time as 25 years of V. But these things never work as they are supposed to. I always have like fights with my label managers and everybody else because I'm completely about being fully satisfied before anything comes out. You get what I'm saying? With business, you got to have schedules and stuff, you get what I'm saying? And I'm always breaking the schedules and stuff, you get what I'm saying? Because, for me, if I don't feel it's ready, it's not coming out. And, the album was, we could have put it out last year, but I'm always on the thought of it can be better, it can be better. Everything I do, it can be better. You get what I'm saying? Until I'm given that last cut-off point, I'm always trying to improve it. You get what I'm saying? So, giving me a window is just like, it's a waste of time, really. You get what I'm saying? So it's finally practically done now, the Future album.
Yeah.
We had 25 tracks and we lost 2, so I'm looking for 2 more, which probably is going to happen very shortly because I've just been talking to one of the legends from V Recordings from back in the day. He's been away for many, many years. He's I'm not going to say his name, but he's loved by everybody in drum and bass. Everybody wants to see his return, and I managed to get hold of him, and he's like, "Bri, I'm in the lab cooking up some beats. I just don't want to come back with 1 or 2 tunes. I want to come back proper." So I'm hoping that he can make the deadline and get on this album. And so watch this space for that.
You're teasing us.
No, that's what I'm trying to do. Because he said to me, he says, "Bri, don't say nothing between me and you." But in this business, people say, don't say nothing. And what do? You say, you just go on this, you just talk it. It's just something we can't help. You get what I'm saying? We just love gossiping, right?
So the first of the albums that's coming out is the Foundations album.
The Foundation album is basically a collective of the best of 25 years of the label, you get what I'm saying? So it covers from the very first track on V Recordings, the very first 2 releases on V Recordings which have never been released on digital before by DJ Crust and Ronnie Size. So it features those tracks on there. Also, it covers for me, some of the best moments, because it's impossible to put all my favorite tracks on the compilation, because
it seems like you're giving it a good go there. 50 tunes on there.
50, well, it's just 50 in part 1, isn't it? It's 2 parts, so it's 50 in part 1 and it's 50 in part 2. So I'm sure it's like 100 tracks, and still I was struggling. I was still struggling because the labels, we got a rich history and a great catalogue, and I just wanted to put some of my best moments. So it covers from your Ronnie Sizes, your Cross, your DJ Dies, Dillingers, Lemon D's, Ray Keith, right up until your Alibis, your L-Sides, your Porty, Edward O'Brien, etc., Command Strange, etc., Artificial Intelligence, everything in between. So it's 25 years of it. I wanted to give you guys something special. I want to give everybody something special, and I thought to get the whole picture of the beginning to where we are now, I couldn't do it in 25 tracks.
I mean, looking back on those first few releases that you put out, that was such a big part of those artists' careers, like Ronnie Size and Cross and DJ Die. Like, it must be an amazing feeling to look back on those.
Oh man, it's one of my proudest moments in this business, you know, was working with these guys in the very early stages, you get what I'm saying, when we started V Recordings, because, you know, at that time, you know, no one knew where it was going. You know, we were just having fun. The business side, it wasn't like how it was, and we didn't have the vision of to see where it was going to go as well. And, you know, so we were just having fun, and that was the beauty of it. You get what I'm saying, that there wasn't all these things that make things a bit harder now to do. You get what I'm saying? It was just so simple. Yeah, the music was just great. You get what I'm saying? And they, you know, they all had their own flavour. They had that sound, you know, like Ronnie, Cross, Die, Sov. They all had that Bristol sound, but individually they were still different from each other. They, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Cross would be very deep, mysterious, and he would be the one that would take the most risk in tunes and add samples and sounds that like would scare you get what I'm saying? But like could influence you and just make you think, wow, what the is going on here? And like, you know, Die was just like the king of the rollers. Die was just sick on the break, you know, original B-boy coming from hip-hop and all that, so he kind of had that kind of thing to the jungle. Ronnie could just like come with the sickest bass lines, you get what I'm saying, and very simple as well, but you know, Ronnie was for me the guy with the bass lines. And Sov, you know, Sov was just like really quirky and just like did things kind of like crazy. Sov would come with some crazy shit like wow, and like he was a very good sort of person to have in the studio as well with the other artists, is to kind of like push on with samples and ideas. So it was a great, you know what I mean, it was a great team.
So how did you first end up linking up with all those guys in the first place?
Well, it's a story I've said many times before. And, you know, 92, 93, I used to work at a record company in London called Rhythm King. And we were dealing with all kinds of dance music. My job was doing club promotions. And I was working on a side label at Rhythm King called Outer Rhythm. Also, we did deals with RNS Records from Belgium. And then we did stuff with Warp Records and stuff. We signed things like Moby Go. We signed that track that went to #1, and like it was fun times. And then they decided to make cuts, and so they cut the label just before they shut it down. Some guys from Bath that we were working with called Absolute 2, they came in and said, yeah, you know, have a listen to these demos. They sent me this stuff, and it just kind of like went into the tape bag, because them times it was cassettes, you get what I'm saying? And it just went into the cassette bag and stuff. And then, you know, that day comes when you got to pick up your stuff from your office and pack up your stuff and leave. And I'm packing up my things, and I'm like, oh, this tape. I put it in the bag, and I took it with me and like played it to my boys, Frost and all that. And we had that time there was this DJ agency called Groove Connection, and it was like all the South London boys were on it. You had Groove Rider, Fabio, me, LTJ Bookham, Mickey Finn, Jumping Jack, Frost, Bailey and all that. So it was like an exclusive agency run by Sarah Sandy. And during the after the meeting finished, I played them the cassette and got some head nod, and everybody was like, yeah. So we decided to, okay, you know, Bookham was really like, yeah, I like these stuff, I like this. We was playing it on cassette, so we cut some of the tracks off cassette, played them at this club called The Eclipse in Coventry, and the response was wicked. So I looked on the phone number, I was like, oh, Ryan. So I've called him up, said, yeah, I want to come down and have a chat with you. And me and Frost went down, then, you know, Ryan happened to be Ronnie, and he said, yeah, meet my friend Kirk, which happened to be Cross, you get what I'm saying? And, you know, like the deal was kind of almost done straight away, because, you know, you got Bryan Gee, Jumping Jack Frost turning up into these guys' houses. It's like Andy C and Chase and Status just coming into your house and saying, hey, I want to sign you, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, so they're like, whoa, you gotta say Jumping Jack Frost and Bryan Gee's like, so, you know what I mean? They
so
were
you came very close to just like throwing that tape away. That could have never got listened to.
Serious, yeah. If I carried on working and they didn't shut the company down, it would have just got buried in the rest of the tapes.
feel like V is a label where you really have like a tight family of artists as well.
Yeah, you know,
like, how important is it to you to
for
keep
me,
that going?
that is very important. You get what I'm saying? You know, I like to work with people that I would say I could, you know what I mean, that they could come around my house, sleep, I can go around their house, sleep, we eat together with. I like to call all my artists brothers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In fact, they call me daddy. You get what I'm saying? I accept that role because I understand, you know, in what term it's meant, as in the daddy. You get what I'm saying? Like, I look out for them as my kids. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're not my kids, but that's how I look at them, like my children. That's what I always did from the beginning when I was working with the Bristol boys, and then we had people like Lemon D and Dillinger just getting involved and all that. So it was a nice tight kit. And then as we move on as well, I'm working really hard with the Brazilian boys.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, you got your Paul T, Command Strange and Track, and you know, then, you know, there's few, you know, Serum comes in and out. He's signed to Hospital now, but you know, he's still like down with what we do because you know what I mean, spent a lot of years working with us at V, and he still feels, and we still feel part connected as well. Although he's signed as King as the Rollers with Hospital, you get what I'm saying? You know, he can do stuff with as Serum. I like to feel like, you know, even when artists move on, that I can still keep that relationship with them because, you know what I mean? You know, that's just how we are. Sometimes, you know, it's not easy because sometimes when they sign contracts elsewhere, it can make it difficult. But they're not just artists, they're part of what made V Recordings, and, you know, they're all special to me, and, you know, they're my sons, my children, you get what I'm saying? And I always, you know, you could do 1-2 tracks, I still feel like you're still family, you're part of the V family, and just, it's not just words, me saying a V family, it means something, you get what I'm saying?
So would you say that your like A&R process and your process of finding new artists to come on the label, has that been quite like constant over the years, or has it kind of changed over the time you've run in the label?
With the first artists, you know, it kind of, as I told you, it all, you know, it just stumbled, it happened, you get what I'm saying? Everything's different, you know. I stumbled upon the tape was given to me, I didn't get on it straight away, and I took it and, you know, listened to it, and that's probably the first demo I've ever listened to. That's, you know what I mean? Maybe I should listen to more, because look what's happened. You get what I'm saying? I got Roddy Size and crossed out of it. Damn. Like, that happens, and then you like with Lemon D, and, you know, Lemon D I met in Black Market hanging out. Ray Keefe, he was involved in the label. He was just someone I used to go to record shops, and, you know, that's how he got involved in the label. Dillinger just lived around the corner from where I grew up, you get what I'm saying? So when he was a kid growing up, he used to look at me and Frost and all that as the DJs and listen to our sets on tapes and all that, you get what I'm saying? And, you know, not just us, Fabio, Groove Rider and all that, and he was heavily into Shaka and all that, and so, you know, we were big influences on him. So as soon as he started to make music, he would give it to us first, you get what I'm saying? And so that's how Dillinger came through. So he was always under my eye. I saw him coming through growing up, you know, so it was always gonna happen in putting music out with us, with Artificial Intelligence, which played another big part in the label. About 15 years ago, they kind of like played a very massive part in V Recordings. Them guys just sent me music just straight away. You know, it was different from the normal V sound, but the time when them guys came through, the music was changing, and it was kind of like you had like the uprising of kind of that liquidy sound. So the music was kind of changing from that Bristol bass line, you get what I'm saying? And, you know, when I met AI, that was the vibe of the music at the same time, that kind of like more deep, liquidy rollers and stuff like that. And so they sent me this demo, and straight away I liked it, and I signed them up, and, you know, we had a great relationship with Artificial Intelligence. Marquee, that was something which kind of happened weirdly as well. You know, we were doing a nightclub called Movement, which really popular night in the West End, and DJ Patif, he came over, checked out the night, went back to Brazil, sent us a message saying that he wanted to do a party in Brazil and call it Movement because he was so inspired by our night. And we was like, nah, you can't just call your night Movement in Brazil. We don't even know nothing about Brazil anyway, you know, so we don't know who you are, you're gonna use our name, and, you know, so if you know, we gotta oversee this if it's gonna happen. So one of our partners went out there, Ado, He went and linked Petit. They had a night going on. He saw what the vibe was, got in touch with me straight away and said, Bryan, get on the next plane to Brazil, right? I was like, okay, it's not much difficult. That's, you know, you don't need to persuade me hard to do that. Tickets all paid for and everything. So I was on the next plane, got there with my records, and there was this night called La Vie. And it was like a Thursday night, just like what we were doing in London, but every Thursday night, Bar Rumba, they had a night called La Vie. I went there and it looked just like Bar Rumba, the same size, the same atmosphere, everything was just like the same. And I was like, wow. I get into this club and, you know, I'm from London, I'm the man, you get what I'm saying? I'm the big boy, you get what I'm saying? And like, all eyes are on me, and you know, yeah, I'm the big guest in town.
Yeah.
But hold on a sec. Some DJ's taking my shine off me on the decks called Marky, right? It's like he's playing some wicked tunes and he's mixing and he's smiling, something drum and bass DJs didn't do at that time. You get what I'm saying? We just snarled and looked mean, you know? It's like, this geezer's like fist pumping and clapping and look like he's having fun, right? And he's doing some mixing that I've only seen DJ Hype in jungle, drum and bass, cut and scratch, and you know, to that level. But this guy took it to a complete level. I was like, wow. I wouldn't say any sweat was coming from a brow and nothing like that. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't like looking to rush out the exit door and hide or nothing yet, right? But it got me thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, so this guy's trying to take my shine off me. I'm the boy, and you know, this guy's trying to like, you know, Marky, you get what I'm saying? And so I just said, okay. Grudgingly got on the decks after him, looked at him like, yeah, okay, you know what I mean?
That is on.
Right, my time now, you get what I'm saying? And like, you know, them times there, you know, I had the tunes, you know, because I'm going to admit I was never ever the greatest skilled in mixing and stuff like that, but my talent is selecting and playing. You know, I can put the tunes together, but I always think my best strength is playing, you know, playing the good tunes at the right time and just playing them good together. And being able to get the tunes as well is giving me an advantage, getting the you know, because of the artists and the, you know, who I am and whatever, being in at the, so
getting
I just
exclusives.
Yeah, so I just like, you know, you could cut, scratch, clap, jump up in the air, do whatever you want, but here is some exclusive dub place I'm gonna throw down in this place right now and nasty up this place and get it aggy, you get what I'm saying? And that time Dies watching Windows and things like Trouble, and all these tunes were just brand new on all these, like, you know, Bristol dubs and all that I had, and I was just unleashing them one after the other, and like, yeah, you know what I mean? I managed to kind of wrestle back some cred, you know what I mean? I walked out like, yeah, and I was like, you know what, man? You're the first DJ that I've been abroad or anywhere I've heard, and could usually it's like, you go abroad, you know, the warm-up DJ, he's okay, but that's about it, you get what I'm saying? I was like, man, you are something else. You're coming back to London with me, you get what I'm saying? So just like I got told, get on the first plane, you get what I'm saying, to come to Brazil, I'm like, you get on the first plane, you're coming back to London with me, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
brought him down to London, and he played up Movement, and then because I just wanted everybody to see what I saw, you get what I'm saying? Because I was like, this guy is bring the fun into drum and bass, just bring that extra thing in. I'm not saying that drum and bass wasn't fun, but he could add something that we haven't got, that I haven't seen, you get what I'm saying?
Killer vibrations, killer live sessions, the thriller of the illa, gorilla with no filter, the spiller of the villa, we ain't getting any clearer. We rock out and rock out with body steady drop. Heavy shivers, shaking up the villa with Manny's and Priscilla's, with Shanny's and tequilas. We chases with the chillers, ignition to the engine. Heavy when we spark it, it's a killer transmission. vibrations, killer live sessions, the thriller of the illa, gorilla with no filter, the spiller of the villa, we ain't getting any clearer. We rock out and rock out with bottom steady drop. Heavy shivers, shaking up the villa with Manny's and Priscilla's, with Shanies and tequilas. We chasers with the chillers, ignition to the engine. Heavy when we spark it, it's a killer transmission.
I feel like when you talk about movement and like you talk to people who are involved in other genres as well, like bass music genres, so like dubstep, grime, garage, they talk about, you know, like legendary club nights. Do you think that we're in a point in like London club culture now? Do you think that could still happen? Like the way that you were running movement for, it was like nearly 15 years, right?
15 years, yeah. And you know, I don't know if that can happen again. It's a shame if it couldn't, because you know, it was a place where everybody came to, not just like you had bad boys, you had yuppies, you had students, you had promoters, you had DJs, MCs, everybody, you know, office people coming just like drunkly, like, what's going on in here? And stumbling in after work or whatever, you get what I'm saying? And you know, there wasn't no VIP or whatever, so you know, you look in the crowd and everybody was there, you know, Bad Company, Fresh, you know, Andy, everybody just hanging out. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm playing tonight. It would be just like on the Thursday night, and they would all come out kind of to connect with the music, because they knew that it was a place where you could hear brand new music, and also the importance of linking and mixing, and you know, because them days social media wasn't the thing, you get what I'm saying? And so you came out to meet people, you get what I'm saying? That's why places like Music House and all these places were important and stuff. And you go to Bar Rumba and you would meet everybody there, you know, promoters could get their work done by meeting DJs and M's, everybody, you know, ravers, and everybody just mixed, you get what I'm saying, you know? And it was just a great night, man, and it was the place to be, and it was the place to show off your skills, whatever. I mean, I remember there was a time when Todd Terry wanted to, that time drum and bass was so popular in America, and Todd Terry wanted to have a go, and he made some drum and bass track, No Blackout or something like that. You know, he got his agent to say, I want to play at Bar Rumba, because he knew that to make what he was doing have any cred, that was the place to kind of like, you know, the heart of London, you get what I'm saying? And you know, I just look around, I see Prince Nazine in the place, and all these just celebrities as well. There's lots of celebrities, like from Ollie Oaks and all these little, it was, you know, so you had like celebrities as well, not just like your drum and bass celebrities, but soap celebrities, sports celebrities. But they were just junglists and D&B heads. They weren't there as like, oh, I've got my table with my champagne, and you know, I don't know if we're gonna get that again, you get what I'm saying, you know. And it was great because, I mean, the internet lets you connect further, but that personal thing, you can't beat that, you get what I'm saying, you know, meeting people personally, you get what I'm saying. And it's a shame, but it was a great night, and as I said, nothing lasts forever, but you know, so many great things bounced off that night, you get what I'm saying. So
I think any DJ or artist or producer or promoter or label owner can tell you that, like, it's pretty hard, like, making it in the music industry, right? Has there ever been times over the last 25 years where you've had doubts about it and you thought, oh, maybe this ain't it?
You know what? I'm one of those ones that's like, what's wrong with these guys, man? Because I've had to listen in all this time to a lot of people, and you know what? I can't really have a go at them and stuff, because, you know, things happen in people's lives where sometimes, you know, music's got to take a back seat. You know, music is not, you know, there's more important things: family, health, finance. You know, there's so many greater things that, you know, and I just feel fortunate that in all the times that I've been in music, I've managed to continue staying in it without these things affecting me. You know, I'm just normal like everybody else, and you know, I have problems with relationships and sickness, money, and we all have it, you get what I'm saying? But I've just I don't know if it's a mentality or whatever, or the love I've got for it that makes me just say, no, I'm not leaving, I'm hanging on, you get what I'm saying? You know, this is my life, I love it, you get what I'm saying? I've been into music since I was a child. I used to play reggae music, sound system, so this is not just something I've just gotten into, it's all I know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know nothing else since I was about 10 years old. You know, I used to follow a sound system in Gloucester called Challenger, and ended up being the selector, being the person that used to come to London to buy the dub plates for the sound, and just being, you know, full responsible for that sound. And then I came to London, and when I moved to London, I started to play music just like in estates, playing funky music, soul, R&B and stuff like that. You know, those were the days you used to have things called blues parties, where, you know, in London you just find empty houses. It was the normal thing to do, like in estates. Oh, that house is empty. You kick off the door, you bring your speakers in there, you bring some decks, you go to the off license, you buy a couple of crates of beers and stuff, and you print up some dodgy flyers. You go outside Brixton Market and you give them out outside the tube station, and I'm having a blues party Saturday night on this estate, and people will come pay £5. You set up your makeshift bar, you get your big boy on the door to charge £5. You play music all night, and people just dance in these illegal houses, and we used to call them blues parties, and they happened everywhere, you get what I'm saying? It was just a normal thing. And you know, so that's the culture I grew up in. And then from that, you know, I had an incident, I went to jail. When I went to jail, I kind of got banged up with this guy that was just completely into soul, funk, R&B, and because I was just into reggae and stuff, and I listened to him, and I got influenced by listening to people like Robbie Vincent and all these people, and you know, LWR and all these stations and stuff. And I come out, and this is like in the late 80s, I started to play funk music, and then someone invited me to go to a warehouse. Me and Jumpin' Jack Frost, he was Nigel at the time, we went to a warehouse party in London Bridge. The DJs at the time was Evil Eddie Richards and a guy called Shock Sound System. They were playing this acid music, and I'm like, what is this music? And we just got taken over by it, just by the whole strobe light, the whole atmosphere, the loving. It was completely different from our normal blues dark parties, because parties where we used to go to, if you look at somebody's funny, you get stabbed. If you step on somebody's toe, you get stabbed. If you look at somebody's girl, you get stabbed, right? So these are the places that we used to go to, you get saying. They were moody, but it was what we knew, you know, it was what we knew. And so from going from that environment to somewhere where if you bumped into somebody, so, oh, sorry, or somebody would pass you some water and say, oh, would you like a drink? And people shaking your hand and hugging each other, and I'm like, what's going on? But I didn't know about ecstasy at that time, you get to say, because I'm coming from like reggae parties, so everyone's doing ecstasy and pills and acid, but I didn't know that's why everyone's so kind and loving. And so you get saying, me and Nigel like, what's going on here, you get to say. But we soon got to grips with it, and we loved it, and so we just followed the journey from acid to where we are now. You get at the same time as well, you had people like Fabio Groove Rider, all from Brixton as well. They were all doing the same thing as well, playing funk and rare groove and stuff, and they kind of all changed at the same time. So it was like London was going through a change of music, just like probably like you notice, like there was a time where 5-6 years ago everybody started to play dubstep, and it was the biggest thing. You could everywhere, dubstep. Do you hear that anymore? Not so much. It's more like Grimes coming now or whatever. And so it's just, that's what happened. Music just keeps evolving and changing, you get what I'm saying? And so at that time, rare groove, you know, Jazzy B, Soul to Soul, you had Shaken Finger Pop, Norman J, and all these people, and this was the sound of London at that time, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And then like them blokes who went to Ibiza, Paul Oakenfold and whatever, they went there, and then they brought back that Ibiza sound back to London, and everybody started to play it, and then it moved from that rare groove whatever to this Balearic acid house. And so it was, you know, and when one DJ starts playing it whatever, then everybody catches on because it's a cool thing to do, and then everybody's playing acid. And so that's just how it continually goes, you know. Music just continues to kind of go through different genres, you get them spin, and
Yeah.
and some people continue following that journey. Some people just feel comfortable staying where they are, or like people that get off, like, this is my stop now, because you can keep going on the journey. Like from acid, I've had many DJs. Like when I used to DJ with like Carl Cox and Paul Oakenfold and these people and they've stopped at there, and then, you know, the journey carried on to like hardcore and stuff, and then that's where Slipmat and LSD and all them guys got off, and then it continued to jungle, and then some people got off there, and then, you know, and then it continued to drum and bass, and some people got off there, and then it continued to garage or speed garage, and some people went there, and then grime or dubstep. So it's a journey, and you get off where you want to get off, and some people just continue following that journey. That's how I look at it anyway. You know what I mean?
So carrying on your journey, where do you see the journey of you and the label going? What's happening in the next 25 years? What's the plan?
That's the big question, man. You can say, because, like, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and try and predict the future. You get what I'm saying? Although we've called the album The Future, you get what I'm saying? But basically, we call the album The Future because it is the next phase. That's what we're trying to say. We're not trying to say this is the future, but it's the future of these artists. This sound is where we're going now. You get what I'm saying? You know, I just want to continue. You know, I'm not gonna, as I said, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, it's 25 years we're going to be doing this, because no one can predict what's going to happen. No one, and you know, anyone that tries it, I would just shout them out on it, because the way this music has got a way of doing its own thing. No one controls it. It just happens naturally, organically. You get what I'm saying? You know, no one knows what the next thing is, but it will happen. You know, no one saw Benny L was gonna come with that big and influence the whole of everybody's doing it now. Or nobody saw Chase and Status making a statement that they're gonna return to jungle. I was so happy, because to see Chase and Status go so far, like, commercially, you get what I'm saying? You know, they didn't need to come back to drum and bass, you get what I'm saying, or to jungle, much more or less. And for them to make that statement and come back, and not just come back and do it proper as well. You get what I'm saying? They didn't just come back and say, oh, let's make some jungle and make some like half beat stuff. They've come back and just like murdered it again. You get what I'm saying?
So like, what artists have you got coming up on the label that you're really excited about at the moment?
All of them, man. I mean, they're all young, and you know, I'm all excited about them all. That's why they're on the label, you know what I mean? You know, let's start off with, you know, Alex Command Strange. You know, this guy I've been working with for a while now. He's from Russia. He's so talented, so young, and he can do it all. He can do the liquid thing, he can do the rollers, he can do the jump up, he can do it all. You get what I'm saying? He's got it all in his locker, and yeah, you know, we're working on an album now, so that should be, hopefully by the end of the year, we should have his first album on the label, so I'm really excited about that. Then you got Alibi, which for me probably are the acts that have, the two guys that have probably carved their own sound more identity of all the new artists. You know what I'm saying? They've kind of like created their own sound, which you can start saying that's Alibi. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is
as soon as you hear it, you know.
Yeah, which is really good. You get what I'm saying? And you know, they were DJ Chap and Level 2, which we were working with before. They're working together, and that's Alibi, and they just dropped their album, and you know, they're on fire now. You know, L Side now is bad boy as well. You know, L Side is just like, I love L Side, man. He's just like, comes with that. He's originally some hip hop boy, so he's coming from hip hop and stuff, but you know, he's got it all in his locker as well. They've all got this great thing, you know. They just got it all in their locker. They can just do the whole different styles. And Paul T and Edward Oberon, another amazing producers as well. These guys are just like, every track that these guys do is just phenomenal, and they've got their own identity and sound as well. And Edward, you know, I mean, there's nothing better than a dirty beat with a soulful, lovely vocal on top of it. Working with this guy called Track from America. He's like an MC from America, and you know, when I hear him, you know, he just sounds so Brooklyn. He just reminds me of Biggie Small, Mobb Deep, and that kind of thing. And that's, I love that kind of hip hop and that flow. Most time when you go to America or whatever, all the MCs will be trying to sound like Skibbity or DRS, or because that's who they look up to and that's who they aspire to and stuff. But Track, he's just like keeping it Brooklyn, keeping it New York. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just so refreshing to hear that New York hip-hop start on top of drum and bass. You get what I'm saying? It's just real cool. You get what I'm saying?
Sounds like there's a lot to look forward to on the label.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't want to say there because, as I said, I'm a when finished person. Even like at work and stuff, I don't even like to even tell Gareth, my label boss, stuff until it's finished, because I just like to get things done. A lot of people do it to build up or promote or whatever, or to hype things up, but maybe I'm just old school, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for me, it's just like, shut the fuck up and just get it done. Just get it done, then let's talk about it. And so I don't like talking about, because anything can happen, but the future's really bright, great out for you, get what I'm saying? And we've got a great team behind us, and it's looking good.
Amazing. Bryan, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
It's been great talking to you.
Safe, man.
Beatport Podcast.
Big shout out to Bryan Gee for joining me on the show today. Keep an eye out for V Recordings, Foundations and future albums dropping very soon. For the rest of the show, I'll be getting into the mix with some of my favourite new drum and bass releases, starting you off with a new one from Samurai Breaks called Razor Sharp. This is a brand new track from Black Barrel, and it's the title track of his new Fabric EP, out now on Dispatch Recordings.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
know you should be a better man. I know. Better man. I know.
The last track you heard was FD with Better Man, featuring Fox on the vocals. That one's out now on Lensman's label, The North Quarter. That's all I got time for on today's show. Another big shout out to Bryan Gee for chatting to me for today's podcast. I'm leaving you with another new track taken from the V Recordings Future album. This one comes from Zero T and it's called Move and Flow.
Beatport Podcast.
We were doing all kinds of other things, but I had learned how to put it all in sync and make it move and have a flow to it. We were doing all kinds of other things, but I had learned how to put it all in sync and make it move and have a flow to it.